All right.
All right.
Whoops.
All right.
Hold on. There we go. All right. Welcome to the Abyss. I am your host, the Eternal Abyss. How is everybody doing? Oh boy, it's been a while, hasn't it? uh, don't mind the jankiness of the graphics on I'm still working on fixing stuff, and I know the issue with the arm and everything, but we are live, we are here. It's been a very long time since my last stream, and I am glad to be here. So I want to say hello to everybody on all the platforms I'm streaming on. I want to say hello to everybody on Realms, my virtual home here, where I can say pretty much whatever the hell I want. So I appreciate that, DoomTube, owner of Realms. I appreciate that. And I want to say hello to everybody on YouTube. I am streaming on there as well. And I have a special greeting for anybody who happens to be listening to me on the latest, the greatest, the new platform that I'm on, that I've been wanting to get on for a very, 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 very long time. Rumble! That's right, I am streaming on freaking Rumble! Hi! I am not streaming on DLive today. That's off the list right now. I don't think I'm gonna go back. I haven't even looked at that website in such a long time. I have no idea what's going on with DLive. So yeah, if I happen to be going on there again soon, maybe one day I might go back to it. I don't know. My main focus really is to get off of YouTube, and Rumble was kind of the only mainstream platform I'm really interested in streaming on. BitChute does allow for live streams, so BitChute might be another option that I'd like to explore as well. But it's one of those things that maybe I can do that. I'll jump off of YouTube. DLive is already shut down for me. In terms of, my account is still there, but I haven't shut that down. But I may end up not streaming to YouTube anymore, which is the goal. And Rumble and BitChute might be the two platforms. So we'll see what happens with that. But anyways, that's not important. The important thing is that we are here. We're together. And there is a lot, and I mean a lot, to talk about. I'm going to try and be selective, because between my last stream and this stream, it's just you can't even keep up with the news cycles. There's so much going on. It's not even funny, It's insane. It's absolutely insane. But one of the latest news items, we'll talk about, if you've seen the title to my video, you'll see that we'll talk about Epstein. We'll talk about Trump. We'll talk about the other scandals and other things that are alleged scandals. Let's actually be accurate. They're not real scandals. They're all manufactured. But we'll talk about those soon enough. And I got my drink here. I hope you guys have your drink too. Take a sip of that. Wet the whistle. Let's get rolling. Let's go into the meat and potatoes. There's that saying. A lot of people say this online all the time. I've been guilty of it too. I posted this as well. The whole, if you go woke, you go broke. And time and time again, it's proven to be true. It's absolutely proven to be true. And one of the latest victims, I guess we can call it, the latest iteration of that is Colbert. Colbert. You know, if I don't know how many people pay attention to Stephen Colbert. Obviously not enough, because CBS has canceled The Late Show. And that means Colbert is out of a job. Yeah, get your shot. Exactly. But yeah, essentially, this is a long time coming. This is the thing. Late night shows in general. You have Jimmy Kimmel, Stephen Colbert, and what's his face? Oh my god! Like, I'm having a brain fart moment right now. I can't think of the dude's name that took over for Jay Leno. Jesus Christ. See, as you can tell, my production values have not changed much. As you can see. Excellent preparation. Yes, there you go. Chug. Chug, chug, chug. Yeah, they kind of do all blend together at this point, because they're all just liberal twats. At this point. They really are. God, the stupid... hold on. So this is the thing about the night shows, You have Jimmy Fallon, that asshole. Okay, so you have Jimmy Fallon, Jimmy Kimmel, Stephen Colbert. These guys, and even Conan O'Brien to a degree. If we want to even include him, I would even include him as one of these liberals. Even though Conan, I will give Conan O'Brien credit where credit is due. He wasn't as overtly political before. He's been more political now. Yeah, he's been more political now. That's the problem that I've had with him more lately. Like, I remember during the whole Haiti thing where Trump called Haiti a shithole. And he went to the beaches there or whatever. And there was a picture of him saying, oh, Haiti is a paradise. It's beautiful, And now, more recently, there was this whole thing about sending Haitians back to Haiti, and every liberal was like, no, you can't send them back to Haiti. It's a shithole. And everybody's like, well, wait a minute. You used to say it wasn't a shithole. You, Conan O'Brien, specifically said it was a paradise. It was a beautiful land. It was wonderful. So that's my problem with Conan O'Brien. Is he as political as Jimmy Kimmel or Jimmy Fallon or Stephen Colbert? No. I will give credit to Conan in that sense, where he definitely does not go as far or as libtarded excuse me, as libtarded as the other three stooges of late night. However, he has his moments, and I'm not a big fan of his anymore because of that reason. I used to enjoy his show a lot more many years ago, but I don't think he has the comedy that he used to anymore. He has more injection of politics in there. But anyways, going back to essentially the main crux of this, all these late night shows have had a horrible rating time, essentially. They have not been able to garner the audiences that Jay Leno had, that David Letterman had, and as well as, Johnny Carson, the king of late night television. The guy would get 10, like how many he would get? I think I heard somewhere and I read somewhere he got like 50 million viewers a night. And that is true. That is true, Orthodox, that television isn't as watched as it used to be. That is absolutely a contributing factor to that. But you know what? There are so many online only shows that mimic exactly what late night shows used to do. You have a lot of these podcasts. You have like Steven Crowder, for example. He pretty much duplicates the late night format, but he's doing it only on YouTube. Well, he's not on YouTube anymore. He's on Rumble. But you have a lot of people that do that too in the news channels. You know, Gutfeld gets great ratings. Now, is he going to get 50 million like Johnny Carson? No, absolutely not. But Gutfeld definitely does a lot better. He's one of the top rated late night shows for that reason. So it's a matter of viewership. It is a matter of demographics. And it's a matter of format, but it's also a matter of politics. It's a matter of what you produce, what content, what jokes, what entertainment are you actually producing. And you're right, Orthodox. The TV pays an army of professional comedians to write jokes, and then Twitter, TikTok makes funnier libtard jokes than them every second. That is absolutely true. That is absolutely true. The online influencer crowd, the internet crowd, just people making memes off of these comedians are like 10 times, 20 times, 50 times funnier. And these guys are paid professionals that are supposedly the experts in entertainment and comedy. Well, you know what? That gatekeeping is pretty much over. Which means people like Colbert, who, by the way, Jimmy Kimmel, Colbert, I don't know if Jimmy Fallon is guilty of this too. I know for a fact that Kimmel got talking points from Chuck Schumer. Chuck Schumer gives them scripts and talking points and such that they have to cover. I am pretty darn sure that Colbert happens. That happens with Colbert as well. It wouldn't surprise me in any shape, way, or form about that. All of these liberal TV shows, for the most part, seem to really rely on Democrat talking points. There's no substance behind it. There's no intelligence behind it. There's no real humor behind it. It's just nasty, mean-spirited, constantly attacking, constantly berating, being passive-aggressive, just being Karens, being annoying. Ovaltine vision. Seething. Yes, seething. Seething is a good word for it, DoomTube. Thank you. And welcome to the stream, and welcome, Tazard. And welcome, friend. Excuse me. I'm just taking a sip of my drink here. Yeah. There's only so many boner pill ads you can run during an hour or two. You'd be surprised how many of those are squeezed in there. Or like, which one? What's that? What's that fruit and vegetable vitamin pill that's on Fox News all the time? I can't remember the name of those, but like even Gutfeld, even different Fox News personalities make fun of that product because it's so over advertised. Yeah, it's all about weight loss and skin treatments and all. Yeah, it's boomer television. Definitely boomer television. And you know what? That's fine. That's fine. If that's what boomers want to see, that's fine. But they're not even getting enough boomers to justify it. That's the joke. That's the funniest part of this whole thing. Your audience are boomers. Your audience, you've been entertaining that demographic not just for like a couple years. We're talking about decades upon decades upon decades, and you lost them. You lost the plot. Exactly. Exactly. That's the boomer trend line. Let me see if I can adjust the chat box here so you can see that a little better, because I think my logo is cutting into it a little bit. There you go. Let me fix that. There we go. Yeah, so exactly, like boomers, that's why all these paid all these paid protesters, all these people that are protesting out there, that the No Kings March, all that bullshit, it's all boomers, because they don't have to go to work. They don't use any sort of critical thinking, because if CNN says it, if CNN said it, or Colbert said it, I gotta follow it. You know, if CNN said, go grab a rusty nail and swallow it, they're gonna be like, oh, where are my rusty nails? Where are my rusty nails? I gotta swallow them. That's the problem with boomers. It's mind-boggling. Quite mind-boggling, in my opinion. It's amazing to me. Quite amazing to me. It's the tap water. Exactly. It's all the fluoride. Kennedy said so. Mm-hmm. Hell yes. Hell yes. But yeah, Colbert's canceled. CBS has been losing a lot of money due to the not just poor viewership. You know, it's not just a matter of poor viewership. They've been sued, and they had to pay. I think they had to pay Trump $16 million for defamation. Because I think that was it with CBS that it was the Kamala interview debacle, where they did so much heavy editing that they got sued because of that. I think it was CBS, wasn't it? I'm pretty sure it was CBS. I could be wrong though. But that's not important. But what's important is that there's been this trend going on for many, many years. You have YouTubers who are bringing in millions and millions of viewers compared to online on traditional TV viewers. Oh, the koi food dump. Yeah, that's right. I remember that too. Yeah, like this constant negative coverage of Trump. They think it generates ratings, but it hasn't. It really hasn't. It's been a long-term detriment. They may get a little spike here and there when there's some sort of controversy, but at the end of the day, they're really hurting themselves. You know? And I think that's the biggest problem. That these people are so blind in their cult ideology, they're not going to see it. But let's talk a little bit about, speaking of cult ideologies and talking about scandals and different things like that. You know, one of the biggest things and one of the main reasons why I wanted to actually do a stream today was to just really talk about this whole Epstein thing. It's amazing to me. Let's start with this aspect of it first. I'm not going to address Trump right this second. We'll talk about him soon enough. But the one thing I want to talk about is X, or the platform formerly known as Twitter. Let's call it that. It's very interesting to see how fractured things can get in an echo chamber compared to real life. Compared to most people that are going to work, paying their bills, trying to survive, they don't give a shit about all the online drama that happens on X, for example, and you have all these influencers that are trying to be like, I'm the one that has all the sources in the White House. I'm the one that does all the scoops. I'm the one that, oh, I said this, and because I said this, Trump changed his mind because of the pressure that I put on them, on him, for example. It's such bullshit. I am willing to wager money that someone like a Laura Loomer or a Benny Johnson or a Matt Walsh or a Tim Pool or anybody that's online that does this for a living, do you really think that someone like Trump, who took a bullet to the face, gives two shits about your opinion? Just throwing that out there. There's a Chinese version of Tim Pool named Fat Wong. Literally, Fat. Is this true? Are you pulling my leg, or is this true? Because if that's the case, I gotta check it out. But I mean, really, there's a lot of nonsense going around with what's going on with this whole Epstein list. That the memo came out saying there's no client list. There's nothing there. Epstein killed himself. This is a big nothing burger, etc., etc. Then Trump came out saying, "Oh, this is a hoax. This is bullshit. This is just, Democrats latching on to this sort of thing." Now Trump has said that he said this already weeks ago, over a week ago, if not already 2 weeks at this point. He said that he has always been okay with releasing anything as long as it's credible, verified, credible stuff. In January, he has said this as well. He had said that he wanted all this stuff released. The Kennedy assassination files, he wanted those released. He wanted to declassify a bunch of stuff. He wanted all this stuff out there. So he's been pretty consistent, actually, if you think about it, and if you actually don't lose your shit because you heard a soundbite about something. So this is the thing that really frustrated me about this whole debacle on X, is because there's no such thing as nuance. There's no such thing as having a brain. They're all mouth breathers on there. All these influencers, the redhead libertarian, Tim Pool, what have you. Like I said, Benny Johnson, Nick Fuentes, even Alex Jones. These people seem like they're all just, eating paint chips. There's no nuance in thought. Everybody's just clapping along like seals, following whoever they want to follow. And nobody's thinking about the fact that it's like, well, wait a minute. There's a lot. This thing is not in a vacuum here. This thing it does not exist in isolation. You have people in jail like Ghislaine Maxwell. You have, under Biden, a bunch of courts and judges that got involved to settle with all the victims. So when it comes to settling, if anybody uses their brain for 2 seconds, they'll realize, oh, wait a minute, if settlements are involved, generally what happens is things are sealed. There's non-disclosure agreements. There's all sorts of other barriers of release. For example, there's a lot going on there. Then you have stuff that's verifiable. You have stuff that's not verifiable. The case folder for the Epstein case might be a filing cabinet full. But what's the actual evidence in there that's actually verifiable, that's actually factual, true, that you can actually go and say, hey, this is actual fact, this is reality? Versus you have some evidence that may or may not be fact, may or may not be corroborated, or you have some bits of information that don't really say anything specific, but because they're connected to Epstein, it may implicate something that doesn't necessarily mean it happened. Like if a name is on a flight log, there's plenty of people that met with Epstein that didn't engage in any bullshit. But there's plenty of people that met with Epstein, went to Lolita Island, and did engage with stuff. And this is verified by people like Pam Bondi, because there's plenty of video evidence. There's all this child porn that she said that they're not releasing. There's all these videos. There's all this stuff out there. So it's not like this stuff didn't happen. It's just that you need to also be a bit careful about how and when you release this stuff. Now, that's not to say don't release it. That's not to say let's just throw it under the rug, sweep it under the rug, and forget about the whole Epstein thing because he was a creep. No. I think we can walk and chew bubblegum at the same time. And no humility is also a very good point, DoomTube. These people will never admit when they're wrong. They think that they have way more power and influence than they really do. There's a lot of hubris and narcissism involved with these influencers, that just because they get a few thousand clicks and views, they think all of a sudden the whole world revolves around them. And that's not the case. They've been wrong many, many, many times. For example, Jack Pobosiak, Cernovich, Liz Wheeler, Scott Presler, The Persistence. All these people with the whole binder bullshit, they got duped. They got completely duped with this binder bullshit. They took the photos, they did the posing, they did all that nonsense. And as a result, their credibility went down to nothing. Now, I will still support some of these people like Scott Presler. I won't follow him. I won't retweet or like any of his shit anymore. But I will support the registration of Republicans for elections, like his election work that he's done, because that is the one thing that he's done. He's proven himself in that specific regard. He should stick to what he's proven himself in. Stay away from all the other bullshit. Stick to what you know. Stick to what you do best. Don't get involved in that bullshit. But am I going to care about any of his posts? No. Am I going to retweet anything of his? No. Am I going to hit likes and whatever and share? No, I'm not going to do that. So that's the thing. These people went off the rails with this whole Epstein thing. Many people went off the rails. I have said this consistently on my Twitter, on my X. I've said this from day one. I am all for justice. For the victims, I am all for justice, that the people guilty of perpetrating these crimes should pay for them. I don't care how powerful these people are. I don't care if it will affect world economies. I don't care if governments will be affected negatively. I don't care. Justice is the most important thing, and if there needs to be a bit of suffering globally in order to restore some justice in the world for the victims, restore and clean out the cesspool that our governments have become, so be it. I say go for it. But does that mean that I don't support Trump? Or I don't, forget even supporting Trump. Does that mean I don't support fixing things in our country. Like, it's not even about Trump specifically. Like, a lot of people were saying, oh, if you don't agree 100% with Trump with what he's saying, you're against him. Or if you're still talking about the Epstein files, you're anti-MAGA, you're anti-Trump. Well, you know what? I think you can, like I said, you can walk and chew bubblegum at the same time. I can support Trump. I can support the agenda, which is really what I support. I don't support Trump specifically as a human being. I support the agenda. I support closed borders. I support immigration policy being enforced. I support ICE deporting every single illegal alien in this country. Chicago burned to the ground on October 10th, 1871. 2/4 turnings ago. What? But essentially, I support all that, and let's give credit where credit is due. In May and June, there's been virtually no illegal crossings. I'll repeat that for the crowd out there that has this whole, Epstein thing up their butts and aren't listening. May and June, we virtually had no illegal crossings. And remember all last year when they were trying to pass that nonsensical bipartisan, quote-unquote bipartisan immigration law because Biden apparently couldn't do stuff to fix the border if this law hadn't been passed? Well, no. The only thing that was needed in order to get this corrected was a president that was actually willing to get the job done. That's what was needed. You didn't need legislation for that. And here we are. We have one of the most secure borders we've ever had in our lifetime. And I think ever, almost, in the history of the United States. I think we have one of the most secure borders we've ever had. And that's a good thing. That's an absolute good thing. We have people self-deporting. That's a good thing. We have people that are criminal aliens. People that have committed crimes that are being deported. That's a good thing. And some people are going to criticize me saying, well, what about these people that don't commit crimes? Well, they did. They crossed over illegally. That's the crime. You cross over illegally, you committed a crime. You overstay your visa, you're committing a crime. Now, there are some circumstances that I've read one article, for example, someone was ill, ended up in the hospital, and they overstayed their visa, etc., and they're getting deported. Okay. Well, they need a good attorney to argue for an extension or something like that because, if you are sick and you don't know how long you're going to stay because you can't travel. Again, he probably, was this person unconscious for months? No. So I don't, that's the thing. I don't really think that that's a good excuse. What happened? Owned by what? Did I miss something? I didn't see anything happen with guest chat toggle. The pop-out chat link in OBS has toggle guest by default. I'm not using any chat toggle though. The chat is displayed as a just running the link in the Yeah, but what about that? I don't understand. I'm not using that. You want me to turn it off? Turn guests off? Toggle guests. Okay. Why was that on anyways? Anyways, it's fine. I have it figured out. It's on. I mean, guests are allowed to chat, I guess. I don't know. But anyways, see, you guys derailed my. Oh, okay. It's the pop out that differs from the regular chat. Now I get it. I'm not gonna close the chat. Stop that. When is New Realms gonna come out here? When is the release date? Damn you, DoomTube! Don't say forever. Don't turn New Realms into Duke Nukem Forever. Don't do that. You know how that turned out. Soon, trademark. Soon. When would then be now? Soon. But anyways, now there's this new scandal. There's the new scandal with Epstein that apparently Trump sent a drawing of a nude woman to Epstein. It's like, and there's all these doodles coming out, but they're calling it Doodlegate. It's so bullshit. It's so stupid. It is so fucking stupid. So the Wall Street Journal wants me to believe. Okay, this is the premise here. The Wall Street Journal wants me to believe that since 2012, I think 2012, they had these drawings. They had all this documentation that Trump was in cahoots with Epstein, that did all these terrible things with Epstein, that they were good buddies. And they never released this shit until now. Are you kidding me? He ran 3 elections and you didn't push this stuff out during the elections. You had 3 elections and you had idiots like Elon Musk saying, "Oh, Trump is on the list." Really? He's in the documents. Oh, really? People online are saying he's in the list. He's in the documents. He's implicated. That's why he doesn't want to release it. Really? In 3 election cycles and midterms? You want to tell me that everybody had all this evidence on Trump, that everybody's been trying to get put him in jail, get rid of him. They don't want him to be in politics. They even tried to fucking kill him. And you think that this bombshell information of that he's a pedophile, that you have a connection to a pedophile, that's not going to get released during this time? Murdoch, Wall Street Journal, fuck off. Are you serious? It's bullshit. Absolute bullshit. Just like every other kind of hoax that the mainstream media and the liberal woke media have been trying to perpetrate against Trump. They've been doing this ever since he came down the escalator. So you know what? I'm not buying this bullshit for 1 nanosecond. Not one. Not at all. It is ridiculous and they should get sued. Trump intends to sue them now. And he should. Oh, of course, if they win the midterms in 2026, the Democrats will do everything in their power to impeach Trump. They already tried to. They already put articles of impeachment. I think Rep. Green introduced articles of impeachment already, and I think they've done this on another occasion or two. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous that they do this. And what's more ridiculous is lesbian hairdo speaker, our Speaker of the House, Mike the lesbian hairdo Johnson, as I call him, because his hair looks like the haircut of a lesbian, frankly. Yeah, no, he just lets this go. He lets it happen. I'm like, how do you let this happen? You're the Speaker of the fucking House. You should have some sort of control over what the hell is going on. You have people saying all sorts of crazy stuff. You have AOC on Twitter calling the President of the United States a rapist. That's defamation. That's slander. She should get sued for that. And Trump should do that. He should sue her. And Speaker Johnson should censure her. Not that censure means a whole lot, because they censured Adam Schiff, and nothing really came of it. But at least now it's on the record that he got censured. So there's that, you know? So it's kind of a bullshit situation, in my opinion. Because we have a feckless Speaker of the House. He barely got the big, beautiful bill over the finish line. Not that that bill was perfect in any way. It wasn't the greatest bill in the world. A lot of people had a lot of problems with it. There was a lot of good in it too. I don't like big bills. I really don't. I am a huge advocate for single item bills. Every bill that should be voted on should relate to a single item, and that's it. No more inserting stuff like pork into bills. No earmarks, no anything. You present a bill on one particular thing, you vote on that one particular thing, it either passes or it fails, and then if there's a problem with it, you can reintroduce it, modified, and try again. But that's it. There shouldn't be these monstrous, horrifyingly, like, just every time I see these giant ass bills coming, reconciliation bills, Obamacare, all these giant ass bills that encompass 2, 3, 4,000 pages worth of legislation, and nobody's fucking reading them. You know what I visualize in my head when I hear about these giant bills? I visualize Akira. When Akira just was morphing and growing into this amorphous, monstrous, hideous abomination. That's what I imagine in my head whenever I hear about these big bills. It's just shit. And it is a prime opportunity for people to insert pork, corruption, terrible shit. You're voting for Grok 3 for Senate. Grok 4 is coming out. If it hasn't already come out on I think the app version of Grok is already Grok 4. I don't think it's been pushed to X yet. Which is a bit redundant. Still voting for Grok 3. Yeah, well, I don't know. To me, Grok has become irreparably broken. Elon has lost his mind. All the changes that they're making to Grok, to me, are garbage. President John Henry Eden. Grok 3 would. If you paste it, it should read it. Yeah. Are I honestly think that there's a lot of opportunity for AI for that sort of kind of thing, to be honest with you. I was actually thinking about building a little tool like that myself where it would track all this, explain it in plain English for people. And I think that's what the government should do, period. They should have, if we're talking about transparency and we're talking about informing people about what's happening, who's voting for what, there should be platforms like that where any bill that's presented, presented, should be read, translated into plain English for people to understand, like summarized. You can show who voted yes, who voted no. Because you already have websites that score people according to how they vote. So, I mean, it's not like it's unheard of to track this sort of thing. You definitely could track it. Why not? I don't think it's that far-fetched, to be honest with you. So, and you had someone like Elon promising this sort of shit a long time ago. He promised a long time ago that he was gonna he was gonna feed all these bills into Grok, and Grok would be able to read it and explain it, etc., etc. And Grok has not been there, has not been at that degree of level where it could do that sort of thing. We could use some sort of AI to track and investigate any instances of unpaid taxes. Well, I mean, you can use AI for a lot of that sort of stuff. Any sort of digital tracing of any kind. AI can do all sorts of stuff. But the problem is, well, that's one problem. The power consumption. Our grid is already hugely taxed because of all the AI tools that are being developed and deployed, and that people are working on already. AI run society is the future. Living wage. 99% of humans are influencers. 70% of influencers' followers will be AI. Well, that's possibly true. And everyone will be on some virtual reality path of self-development, and AI will decide who gets oofed. They already use AI to catch fraud and money laundering. I've heard of some relatives who work at the... Yeah, there's already... I've already seen also in like credit unions, for example, where they're putting in different forms of verification now because of fraud. So yeah, things are moving in a very kind of... I mean, in one way, one could think that it's kind of a dystopian future. I don't know about the living wage thing and that everybody's influencers. Like, all these people saying that AI is going to make people basically useless and pointless. No. I think what's going to happen is AI as software. I'm not talking about they're already useless before. Some are. I will agree with that, DoomTube. Some people are useless before AI. No, but I mean, Elon talked about integrating AI into his little robots. So let's forget that for the moment. If we're talking just purely software wise, AI cannot do everything. AI cannot fix your plumbing. AI cannot install a new roof on your home. You may be able to use tools and gizmos and devices. Well, even if they integrate AI into tools and gizmos, at least where things stand right now, you're not going to have robots and tools and just work purely independently from a human being involved in one form or another. So what's going to happen, what I think, is yes, you're going to have a big shift where a lot of work, where automation is involved, where tedious tasks are involved. You're going to have a good portion of a demographic shift where a lot of the work is going to go into the hands of automation, AI, things like that. I mean, you had already a giant shift like that with the industrial age. When the world became industrialized and you had assembly lines, and you had automation then with robots. We already have robots doing stuff like building cars all over the place. You have a serious amount of automation with chip building and microchips. I mean, when I say chip building, circuit boards, and all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of industry that's already highly automated, but you still have human beings involved. You still have there's going to be a degree where human beings are going to be involved in either design, implementation of some sort, debugging, and that's the big thing. I think the bigger shift isn't learn to code, is learn to debug, because you're going to need to deal with a lot of stuff that has to do with automation, and these things require constant updates, tweaking, fixing, all that kind of stuff. That's where I think there's going to be a huge shift. We're still going to need trade experts, experts in certain trades. You're still going to need plumbers. You're still going to need people who fix your air conditioner or install a new air conditioner. You're going to still need manual labor of some degree. So I don't think AI is going to make human beings obsolete as like what someone like Bill Gates says, for instance, or other people like that. Well, it didn't really appear just out of nowhere. It's been that sort of thing had been worked on for many, many years. Like, we're talking about easily 20 to 30 years, if not longer, where AI has been experimented on, has been really implemented, researched. I don't know if I agree that it was stealth released. I think it was intentional. I think it hit the ground. There was this big boom about ChatGPT. I think it was purely intentional to release it with such a splash, where now everybody and everything is ChatGPT. And this is the thing for me about ChatGPT. It's the same with like electric vehicles, or when you're talking about, for example, during the George W. Bush years, for example, you had a huge amount of cars that just did not have good gas mileage. And then out of nowhere, after that, all car manufacturers started making sedans that started giving you like 30 miles per gallon, 40 miles per gallon, 45 miles per gallon. All of a sudden, every car started getting excellent mileage. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. This doesn't exist in a vacuum. It's not like one car manufacturer like Ford came out with it first or Chevy came out with it first. No, they all came out with it at the same time. Same thing with ChatGPT. This stuff has been in the works for a long time. I think it's a direct injection kind of release. I think it's an intentional, planned, calculated release where they gave all the movers and shakers, like the big companies, access to this sort of thing all at once. So then all of a sudden now everybody is out there with AI. Now you have people online, not online, on TV. I just saw this one dude who labels himself an AI expert. Where the fuck did you come from? This guy who probably was like 25 years old talking about that he's an AI expert? Are you fucking kidding me? You probably don't even know what AI stands for, and you call yourself an expert, just like people calling themselves SEO experts. You're not an SEO expert. You will never be an SEO expert because Google only releases about 80% of their algorithm. There's that mystery 15-20% that's in this ether that you don't know what the fuck they're doing. So you can call yourself an SEO expert, but you're not really. You're only an expert in the 80% that Google wants you to fucking know. Yeah, but that's not the point. But that's not the point, though. Even if that technology became widely adopted in the mid 1990s, it's kind of the same principle. It didn't just pop out of the ether. It didn't just happen to come into existence in the 90s. This stuff has been researched, and then everybody at the same time decided to adopt it. Same thing with ChatGPT. Everybody in the know knew that AI was being worked on and developed, because in order for it to be ready for prime time, you had to do research and development on this. You can't just code this up in an afternoon. Look how bad Google fucked it up when they released Gemini, because they rushed it. They're like, oh shit, we're behind the curve. So in order to keep up with everybody else, they released their own version of AI, and look what a disaster Gemini turned out to be. Oh, Google fucked it up big time, not just kinda. Google's release and development of AI was such a major fuck up, it is beyond belief. Google should have been the one to release it first. But they were so focused on their political bullshit and all the bullshit on manipulating algorithms and trying to manipulate elections and commit election fraud. They missed the ball on that one so bad. But according to like anybody logistically thinking about this, Google is so big and they invested so much money in research and development. I mean, Google even was doing research on contact lenses that could check your blood glucose level. So I mean, they were doing so much stuff, and the self-driving cars and all that stuff. Nah, Grok 4 is not. See, I don't like the term smarter. This is the problem I have with people like Elon Musk. They say stuff like that, which is grossly inaccurate. So when you're talking about computers and AI, you're not talking about smart. You're talking about data processing. You're talking about how it consumes data and how it processes that data. Elon Musk himself said that it has knowledge, but it doesn't have common sense. That's not smart. That's the same thing about someone saying, I have 20 different doctorates. Okay, so you have 20 pieces of paper, but can you write a check? Can you balance a checkbook? No. Yeah, Cadillac converter that aren't Cadillacs. Yep. Cadillac. It's a Cadillac. A Catlick converter. So that's why they purr. It's the Catlick converter. We've solved the mystery, guys. But I don't. That's why I don't like it when people use the term smart for for data and knowledge. It's a complete misnomer. It's a complete inaccurate description. Cat eye lick? You lick cats? That sounds unhealthy. But anyways, what people need to take away, Doom does. I think what people need to take away from AI is this. Like anything else, AI is a tool. AI is a tool that can be very helpful. It can be very good. It can do a lot for you. But it's not a human being. It's not going to have the same logic and reasoning as a human being. You're not going to also get accurate information. Just look at this new like implementation of Grok 4, for example. People have been talking about how really broken Grok is. It's basically like someone who Googled something for 2 seconds and think that's fact. That's not accurate. Which brings me to the principle of, and I said this on my stream, not my stream, on my X timeline, garbage in, garbage out. You know, if you put garbage into your AI chatbot, your output's going to be garbage. And that's a basic principle of computer science. Bad inputs equals bad outputs. Bad training data is going to give you bad outputs for AI. Bad interpretation of prompts is going to make it so you're not going to get what you're asking as well. I have this constant problem. For example, because I do play around with chat bots, with these AI tools like Grok, Perplexity, things like that. And no matter how I prompt something, sometimes the tool will just not give me what I'm asking. Grok is a prime example of this when I'm doing image editing. I specifically say what I want edited. It cannot do it. It will not do it. It doesn't understand. And this is supposed to be a PhD. It's supposed to be smart. No, it's not. And I'm not speaking a foreign language to this thing. I'm not being cryptic about it. I'm specifically pointing out exactly what I want it to do, how to do it, when to do it, etc. And it still just ignores the prompt and does whatever the hell it wants. So I think people need to take a step back and realize, all this AI stuff, while it's very useful, it can do a lot. It can help you really be productive. It can really provide even some insight. It can in conversations with AI, you can probably come up with some interesting ideas because you're having this sounding board that actually talks back to you. Talk about fast food. I don't like fast food. Claude, I think I've tried Claude once or twice. I haven't really messed around too much with that. Well, it's possible. It's possible that it could come up with theories based off of the data that it has. I'm not discounting that possibility, but you also have to realize, again, garbage in, garbage out. If you're feeding it bad information, it could come up with a wonderful theory about the origin of the universe, but what is it really gonna, what's the verification process that whatever it's coming up with is accurate? I mean, it can't even get basic queries right. How am I supposed to trust that it's going to come up with a cure for cancer, for example? Or a cure for a toe fungus? I don't even know. I eat fast food when I have to. It's not like I don't eat it. I just don't like it. Pizza, I don't view pizza as fast food because I've had I've had some amazing pizza. So I don't really think of pizza as a fast food because I go to some really good pizza places. I don't buy shitty pizza. So But anyways, enough of the AI talk. I that's really where I stand when it comes to AI. It's like AI is a great tool. I think that there's a lot of potential there. I do think that people need to approach it more carefully. I do think people like Elon are not approaching it carefully. I think they're ignoring a lot of basic computer science principles as they are developing AI, and I think it's a problem. No, fucking A, no, Bucky's, dude. I'm sorry, but Bucky's is like you get 20 times the variety. I'm gonna be a dissident on this one. Wawa is great. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that Wawa's is not good, but I am saying that yeah, but at Bucky's you can get freaking brisket. You can't get brisket at Wawa's. You can't get barbecue at Wawa's. I'm sorry. Bucky's has nice shitters. Which one am I on? What the video you sent? I'm not gonna play any videos right now. I think Wawa's has some really good stuff, and I am never going to say that Wawa's is shit, but I will say that Bucky's is impressive. They have very clean bathrooms. That is true. I've done a lot of road tripping. I'll take a look at it later. And I will say that there are certain things with Bucky's, like just their drink selection alone. Like they have so many fountain drink selection that you can consume. It's crazy. I think they got like 30 or 40 varieties. So if you're looking for something like that, then I would say Bucky's is your thing. If you're looking for a huge variety, if you're looking for like brisket and other kind of things like that kind of food, Bucky's is the place to go. If you're looking for a sub sandwich, if you're looking for something more of your traditional kind of road trip fare, I would say Wawa's is a great choice. Don't get me wrong on that one. Organ meat? I don't know. I don't do organ meat, so I really don't know. I can't offer a suggestion on that. But I have visited Bucky's on occasion because I've been doing a lot of road tripping and a lot of travel lately. So there's that. Local Chinese spot. That's a pretty good shot right there. Yeah, that's a good suggestion, I think. But anyways, there's so much more I can talk about with the news cycle. I really just wanted to tap in and talk a little bit about those two things and make my announcement that I actually am able to stream live on Rumble, believe it or not. So I'm going to start doing that whenever I do streams now. I know I've said this before, so I'm not going to necessarily say it again in the sense of don't take this at face value, take it with a grain of salt. I'm trying to figure out a streaming schedule. I don't have one yet. But for anybody listening, if you do enjoy my ramblings, if you do enjoy this kind of content and streams, consider liking, subscribing, and sharing. I should stream on Twitch with a hot tub, but you won't be able to see me in the hot tub. I did promise when Bitwave was alive, I did promise a naked stream a long time ago. So I did promise I was going to do that. And I need to have a working hot tub if I'm going to do a hot tub stream. I could wear my trench coat and mask in the hot tub. I gotta find a trench coat and mask. I can't find a mask. I tried. I actually reached out to a company because I wanted to see if they could get a mask where they could put my custom logo on it, and they never replied. The assholes never sent me a message. So I don't know. I'll have to see if I can. I'm gonna have to maybe just make my own. Do a screen printing on some white spandex mask and just put that on. Probably because my Wawa hate came through. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I screwed myself on that deal, didn't I? I don't hate Wawas. I tried to make that perfectly clear. I'm not saying I hate Wawas. All I'm saying is if you put a gun to my head and I had to choose one or the other, damn it, I will. I'll talk to them. I'll send them a message and ask for forgiveness. Say, come on. I don't hate Wawas. Come on, man. Help a brother out. But anyways, I think that would put me in a much worse situation than I currently am in if I try to put a gun to anyone's head to make a mask for me. I don't think that's a good idea. I just don't. Maybe. No, it's definitely not. The actual building. Put a gun to the building where they print. The actual printer. Kind of like an Office Space where they beat up the printer. I love that movie, by the way. That is a fun movie. If you have not watched Office Space, I recommend watch it. Funny movie. AM PM guy? What's AM PM? I'm not familiar with that. Is that some other variety of gas station shop thing? Of gas station travel spot, like travel facility? Is that? He's an AMP guy. BP gas stations are overpriced. Yes. The opening scene of Office Space is really funny. I love the whole movie, to be honest with you. I think it's a really well-made movie. I am not a fan of Jennifer Aniston, but I think that role was the best role she ever did. She's hilarious in it, and I can't think. Sorta. I mean, she's kind of mid. She's aged relatively well, to be honest with you. I will grant her that. She's aged relatively well. No, I don't. I absolutely do not like Bondi. I think going back to the whole Epstein thing, actually, which was the whole point of this stream, I think Pam Bondi is probably the biggest problem with this whole Epstein thing. She fucked it up big time. And some people argue, but she's done so many wonderful things as AG. Okay, that's great. I'm not discounting any positive things she's done. If Wawa wants to sponsor me, I am more than happy to do that. Someone reach out to Wawa and see if they want to sponsor me, because I have no problem having them as a sponsor. But going back to Pam Bondi real quick. Pam Bondi really fucked this up. She really fucked up the whole thing. She promised that she had the list on her desk. On her desk. She said so, and then she backpedaled. No, I meant all the files. No, you did not. No, you did not. You specifically said you had the list on your desk. And other files, yes. But don't go and tell me that you didn't have the fucking list on your desk. You said it, not me. Now, someone could say, well, maybe she misspoke. maybe she didn't mean to say that and it just came out because apparently all she does is do Fox News appearances and is constantly in front of a camera and a microphone. Maybe she said something she wasn't supposed to say. That's possible. But don't backpedal. Don't bullshit. If you said list, you said list. Now she could have said when there was that question asked during one of the cabinet meetings, that she meant all the files. No, what she really should have answered was, you know what? I had said I had the list, and I misspoke. It was a big mistake on my part. She could have just fessed up to that, and she would have not lost any credibility in my book. Because to me, if someone is honest and says, you know what, I misspoke, I fucked up, then I can understand that, because that people do tend to say stupid things sometimes. They fumble, they misspeak, they use the wrong term for something because they're in the moment. It happens. So I'm not discounting that that's a possibility here, but she has been consistently fucking this whole thing up with the phase 1 binders and all that. She has done a lot of damage to Trump when it comes to the whole aesthetics of this thing. That's the thing. That's the biggest issue I have with Pam Bondi. If Pam Bondi is doing great work, I say, and this is something I've posted on X multiple times already, and I've tagged even Donald Trump on it, even though I don't think he reads my shit. But I have said from day one with Pam Bondi, you want to keep her as an AG, you want her to keep doing the quote-unquote wonderful, fantastic work she's doing, end quote. Okay, fine and dandy, peachy keen, that's awesome. No biggie. Don't put her in front of a camera. Don't put her in front of a microphone. Throw her in an office. Let her do her job and tell her to go fuck off and don't get in front of any camera anymore. Simple. Well, that was a mistake too, Orthodox. Epstein probably shouldn't have been engaging in what he engaged in. That's not necessarily unheard of. But yeah, it's like the whole, to me, Pam Bondi really is the weakest link in the chain of all the cabinet people and everybody and this whole thing. She really fucked it all up, which then made it that what's her name, Levitt, had to keep answering questions about this. Trump is getting annoyed with this whole thing, and he has good reason to be annoyed about this whole thing. He's done a tremendous amount of work in 6 months, 7 months. Simple. He's turned around so many things. I'm sorry, just the Norm Macdonald face. Oh god, that's just so fucking funny. Anyways, yeah, Trump is right on one thing. I will say this. There is one thing that I will say about Trump, because people are like, well, why is Trump saying it's a hoax? Why is Trump getting so upset over this thing? Well, there is one point of legitimacy there, because the Democrats for 4 years under Biden and even during Trump's first term literally gave no shits about Epstein. Not one single Democrat gave a single shit about it. Not at all. No media people, not the mainstream media didn't care about it. Politico, all these woke rags didn't write shit about it. They cared not at all. Now that this thing is coming up, they're seizing on this to try and hurt Trump. So I understand why Trump is saying what he is saying about it being a hoax, that it's the Democrats are feeding into this, these influencers and so-called supporters. are running with this nonsense to hurt him. It's ridiculous. Yeah, this whole draining the swamp thing is, I mean, there is some of that happening with all the firings that are happening in the State Department, USAID getting shut down, NPR and PBS aren't getting funding anymore, and neither is Planned Parenthood. Those are all wins. Those are all insanely wonderful wins. He's also addressing the election fraud finally, which he should have done the first time around. See, the whole thing about the list for me is it's not specifically the list that I care about. I care about justice. I want victims to have justice. I want people who perpetrated the crimes to face justice. So if there is a specific list that exists, great. If it doesn't exist, I don't even care as long as there is evidence to show that person A, person B, Congressman A, Senator B, Representative C, CEO D, all these people. I don't really care if there's a specific compiled, typed in 12-point font, double-spaced Word document list. The actual physicality of that isn't the most important thing to me. The most important thing to me is the justice side of it. These victims deserve justice. The people that committed these crimes deserve to face justice. So that should be the focus on this. And that's where I have a problem with someone like Pam Bondi saying, I had the list on my desk. I just got to review it. It's sitting on my desk right now. And she did this for weeks. Going on Fox News every night. I got the list. I got the list. It's on my desk. It's on my desk. I got the list. Shut up. How about you stay at your desk then, review the shit, and then release it, instead of going on Fox News all the time saying, I got this list, I got this list. Stop being an attention whore. Simple. It's not complicated. But yeah, I understand Trump's frustration with this, and he has said on multiple occasions, release what is credible. He's saying this since January, even while he was running. He said he'd look into it. He never promised he was going to release anything. He never promised anything. Even there's this edited video of an interview, Fox News interview, I think it was, where they edited part of it. And all he said was, I'll look into it. You know? Well, they got paid somehow, Doom. A lot of his victims received settlements. So in one form or another, they did get paid. Not that long ago, Doom. This happened during the Biden administration. Or, I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. The auto pen regime. That's going to be the subject of probably next stream, remind me, because I have a lot to say about fucking AutoPen. Just saying. I can't stay on for much longer. We're going to be wrapping up the stream pretty soon, guys. But I do want to say this, Epstein is a complicated situation. And I think what's getting lost here is that there are a lot of victims, and there's a lot of grifters exploiting these victims still. A lot of these so-called right-wing influencers and all these Democrats and all these leftists and the mainstream media and all these people that are trying to abuse the situation to hurt someone politically. It's, in my book, it's evil. It is evil what these people are doing, that you are basically re-traumatizing people over and over and over again, capitalizing on their abuse. It's kind of like standing on the corpse of a victims of a school shooting, like the politicians, like these political pundits and politicians do. I fucking wish someone would pay me off. I fucking wish. I need the money. There's a huge divide between the modern Westerners expect to believe in how upper class elites have run society for thousands of years, and as long as there is a misunderstanding and divide, the Jew will be able to manipulate both sides of the folk. Well, not just the Jews. I don't have a list. I could, if you want me to type up a list next time, I could just start reading through the name of. I mean, I don't know. I don't have a list. I think you do. You have a list. He pays profit to play garbage TV. DoomTube, you can pay me all this time? You've been able to pay me and I've never been paid by you? I feel betrayed. Where's my pittance? Where's mine? It's in a special bank account. Oh, okay. Oh boy. But anyway, speaking of that sort of support, like I said before, for anyone listening on YouTube and Rumble, I'm gonna try and get off of YouTube. So come over to Rumble, follow me on Rumble, and I'm probably gonna try and start streaming on BitChute moving forward. I don't want to do it for free. No, I'm kidding. I actually have never done these streams with the thought of making money off of them. I'm being completely honest here. Like, I know a lot of people try and do this stuff because they want to start making money off of it. I've never really been big on that sort of thought process. I mean, if people want to support me and do stuff like that, they can. If they want to subscribe, if they want to give donations, whatever, I could set up a super chat thing. I've been considering doing stuff like that, but honestly, I enjoy the stream. I enjoy doing this. So to me, it's more about something that I feel is something I not only enjoy, but also I would hope that other people enjoy it and it is useful. It's maybe someone gets an interesting tidbit out of my soapboxing and rambling. And, if that's the case, wonderful. Like I said, give me a like, subscribe. That'll be wonderful. It helps the algorithm as well if you like and share and subscribe and hit the notification bells and all that fun algo stuff. I appreciate it. It helps me a great deal. But I think we're gonna end there. I got some stuff I really gotta take care of. I got a couple calls I gotta make and such. So thank you, everybody. Hopefully this first stream on Rumble went well. No, I'm not done with Realms. Realms is my home. It's the place where I stream before anywhere else. So I appreciate Realms. I'm always going to stream on there as long as Realms exists because I can say whatever the hell I want, and I appreciate that. I'm going to get rid of YouTube eventually. It is a sausage fest. I have to admit that, Doom. I think you need to address the fact that Realms is a bit of a sausage fest. Just saying. I mean, I think we had one female at one point. If she was actually an actual female, I don't know, because, there is also the rumor that there's no such thing as women on the internet. See, I've been sold a lie. See, I thought Avery was supposed to be female. I'm sold a lie. God darn it. Really? Damn you! We do the Charlton Heston's damn you dirty apes. Oh, that'll be fun. Blue Sky. Enjoy that. Is Threads still a thing? Do you know if Threads is still alive? I think Threads is pretty much dead. I think it still exists, but I have no idea how many people are going to Chatterbait. Well, I mean, I can add more and more later, but for now, I'm gonna get rid of YouTube eventually and jump on. I'm gonna try and stream on BitChute and see how that works. Because if it works well, Rumble and BitChute would be the primary stream platforms. YouTube can go jump in a lake, and Realms is my main platform where I restream from, anyways. So, I could. That is true. I could do Robot Streamer. Yeah, but I don't want to be around Troons. So that doesn't really help me. I don't think. It's not my demographic. Let's put it that way. It's not the demographic I'm aiming for. No, I surprisingly I'm not. No. Believe it or not. I know. I'm shocked too. Vol Live? What's that? I've never heard of that one. Vaughn Live? Vaughn.live. Well, I'm gonna have to check that out. I am not familiar with that one at all. Oh, really? Okay, I guess. I am what? Remember what? I was never on Vaughn Live. I don't recall ever hearing about it. Maybe you mentioned it a long time ago. I don't know. I only go to websites I can easily spell reliably. I didn't work for Bitwave, no. I never worked for Bitwave. I streamed on Bitwave, yes. No, I never worked. I never did a lick of work for Bitwave. He's been Vaughn.live has existed since Bitwave days? It's been around that long? Huh. Well, that's interesting. I wasn't aware of that. I don't know. There's a lot of these little streaming platforms that come up and down. I mean, even I even connected Odyssey to my YouTube so it would duplicate all my videos over. But I realized that there were some weird limitations on that. So I don't even know if that's still working. I haven't looked at Odyssey in like centuries. So I don't know if it's even worth for me to look into it anymore. Honestly, I have no idea. But you know what? Like I said, I do need to go, guys. It was really fun. I enjoyed the streaming. I'm gonna try and fix up some things, like with my background, with my image on there, because there's that bar on the arm that I need to freaking get rid of. There's a lot of different things like that I need to kind of tweak. So, thank you everybody for listening in. I appreciate each and every one of you. And remember, kids, as always, don't be complacent. Have a wonderful weekend. We'll talk soon, and hopefully I'll get on stream again very, very soon.